of Mississinewa employees and how employees in that category will be paid. Certified staff, which is basically teachers and administrators that are under contract. No changes or adjustments needed regarding pay and benefits. Pay will continue under current procedures. This is the law. Classified staff, these staff members may be required to work during the closure. These staff members will receive the same daily pay as they are currently receiving. Exact days and hours will be determined by the supervisor and superintendent. The identified classified staff are central office, including superintendent's office and business office, custodial staff, transportation staff, food service staff, building secretaries, technology staff is determined by the director of technology and superintendent, paraprofessionals and related instructional educational staff. Now, let me restate item 69. This item is specific and particular to the current situation. So it's not a policy, it's not in the classified handbook, it's just going to be read into the minutes, and it only relates to the current crisis, public health crisis that we're going through. But the State Board of Accounts asked us to do this, and so that's why we're bringing you this recommendation to approve the guidelines for the emergency closing due to the public health crisis. So let's take a motion and a second time.
Okay.
If you wouldn't mind.
Does anybody have any questions?
I just wondered, is this wording something you came up with, or was there kind of a template sent out from the state, or?
The state didn't send out a template, but we got some other schools that put their thoughts together, and we kind of shared them and wrote them up as what we thought was relevant to us.
Sounds very good.
Are there any other questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mrs. Miller.
this is Susan Miller, yes, and I will make a motion that we approve the employee pay guidelines during emergency closings as presented.
Okay.
Okay,
Need a second?
need a second. Board member Michael Kraus seconds that motion.
Okay, we got a motion. Properly second.
Second.
Mr. Smith.
Mr. Smith. Aye.
Ms. Miller.
Ms. Miller.
Aye.
Mr. Cunningham.
Mr. Cunningham. Yes.
Yes works.
Mr.
Yes
Kraus.
works.
Mr. Crouch.
Mr. Kraus.
Yeah.
Aye.
Okay. Terry.
Aye.
Mr. Herrera.
Mr. Herrera. Aye.
Motion carries.
Motion carried.
Okay, 70.
70.
2019-2020 classified benefit schedule modified March 23rd, 2020. Mr. McKenzie.
Yes, item 70 is what I originally said for 69, so I apologize for any confusion.
I messed up, didn't I? I'm sorry.
No.
Item 70 has to do with an addendum to the current classified schedule. So as you can see in your packet when we provided that, it's very simple, and all we did was, along with e-learning days, we added emergency closings to that, and everything else remains the same. So we would recommend approval of item 70 as presented, and would take any questions or comments anybody might have.
Are there any questions from the board on item 70?
The changes are highlighted.
The changes are highlighted, yes.
Okay.
So, you don't need to read any of those into the record then, right?
No, they'll be a part of we'll immediately, if you guys approve it, we will add that to the classified handbook immediately and take effect immediately.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Anybody else?
Okay, and then I need a motion.
I need a motion.
Anybody? No, say, who is this?
Who is it? Mr. Smith.
Denny Smith.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, need a second?
Approve the 2019-2020 classified benefit schedule
Okay.
as presented.
Okay, got it. Need a second?
I'll second.
Mrs. Frey is seconded.
Fred, second.
Okay, okay, we're gonna do this. It's hard to hear because we got two of them. So here we go. Mr. Smith, yes or no?
Yes or no?
Ms. Miller,
Ms. Miller.
Yes.
Mr. Cunningham,
Mr. Cunningham. Yes, sir.
Mr. Crouch.
Mr. Kraus. Yes.
Okay. So we got Terry. Ms. Freitas.
Ms. Brady.
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Herrera.
Mr. Herrera. Yes.
Motion carries.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Thanks, everyone.
Everyone.
Item 71, personnel, Mr. McKenzie.
Yes, we have the following personnel items for your consideration this evening. Kyle Baresh to be hired as a physical education teacher at Mississinewa High School and as the head football coach to take place, or to begin tomorrow, March 24th. He was originally going to be here with his family, and we asked him not to attend tonight for obvious reasons, but I told him that when this situation subsides and the rules and regulations about being in public places is lifted, that we would love to have him come to one of those open public meetings when we get to that point. So the other item is Morgan Babb has requested a leave of absence as the secretary to the athletic director at Mississinewa High School from approximately March 29th through June 19th. So we would recommend approval of these personnel items as presented this evening.
Okay, we got heard Mr. McKenzie's recommendation on personnel. Does the board have any questions?
Mr. President.
Yes, Mr. Crouch.
Mr. Kraus. Yes, sir. This is Mike Kraus, and I make a motion to accept the personnel report as presented.
Okay,
Okay?
okay, got Mike made a motion to accept the personnel.
Personnel.
I need a second.
Need a second.
I'll second.
Mrs. Miller, second.
I'm sorry.
Okay, is that Susan?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay,
Okay.
motion made by Mr. Kraus, second by Mr. Miller.
Mr. Miller.
Okay, all those, excuse me, Mr. Smith, how do you vote?
How do you vote? Yes.
Ms. Miller,
Ms. Miller.
Yes.
Mr. Cunningham,
Cunningham. Yes.
Mr. Crouch,
Mr. Kraus. Enthusiastically, yes.
Ms. Freitas,
Yes.
Mr. Herrera.
Mr. Herrera. Yes.
Okay, motion carries.
Motion carries.
Thanks a lot for your vote. Okay, we're going to 72, facilities report. Mr. Goster, you want Goster?
I'll start.
Okay, start, yeah.
You should have received in your board packet the summer maintenance update. I'm going to review each building with you, but we're not going to vote on the rainy day fund for those specific items that were budgeted for that purpose until the April 20th meeting. But I did want to go over those with you because we have some definite prices. Also included in the governor's executive orders recently was a delay of property tax payments. So we're a little bit concerned about spending money that we haven't received yet. So when we get to Northview, we're probably going to delay the HVAC part of that project plan for the gym at Northview. It's a little over $200,000, so that's a big chunk. So we would kind of like to put that off until we get that property tax payment. And if we have time to do the project, there's still enough summertime left once we receive that money to do the project. And if the company that's installing the HVAC at Northview is still available, then we'll try to get that finished. If not, we may have to wait till the following year. We can all understand that there's a lot of anxiety about school finance going forward, so we decided that's a part of the overall plan that we could live without for a year if need be, and see what our finances are. So I'll start with the high school. There's only 2 items on there. The hallway window and outdoor wraps for the high school, and I'm not sure exactly what that's going to cost, or if Mr. Quadaher is still interested in pursuing that part of the summer maintenance plan, but we told him the max amount of money that we would contribute towards that from the rainy day fund was $5,000. The rest he would have to pay from his own building accounts. We had budgeted $85,000 for the parking lot improvements at the high school. That came in at $65,965. Any questions about the high school? Okay, RJ Basket. There were 2 items that we were intending for from the rainy day fund to cover, and that's some painting and flooring installment at the middle school. We had estimated or budgeted $15,000 for that purpose. It came in at $11,677.50. We also wanted to do some landscaping around the circle drive out front at the middle school to try to keep people off the grass. And we estimated $10,000 for that. It came in at $8,800. So, any questions about RJ Basket? Okay, moving on to Northview. They needed some additional security cameras in a few places throughout the building that they thought weren't covered very well for their security and discipline purposes. We estimated that at a cost of $10,000. It came in at $13,750. Paint and flooring installation at Northview, we estimated at $15,000. It came in at $13,000. As I mentioned with the HVAC at the Northview gym, we estimated $210,000. It came in at $208,744. We're going to put that one on hold until all the property tax draws come in. And we all need to realize that that project may not get done this summer. The gym's sound system to be improved, we estimated $5,000 on that project. We have not gotten the official confirmation on the cost for that project. So, any questions on Northview at this point? Okay, moving on to Westview. They have an HVAC project for their office area. It was a part of a 4-year plan, and this is the 4th year of that plan. Prices based on last summer, we estimated $190,000 for that project. It came in at $192,914. Paint and flooring installation at Westview, we estimated $10,000. It came in at $6,612.10. An update to the student restrooms. We're going to just do the boys' restroom because it was determined that the toilets in the girls' restroom were at the right height. The real problem in the boys' restroom was that the urinals were set too high, so we're going to lower the urinals and also lower the wash basins in that restroom. We had estimated $60,000 for that project. It came in at $64,675. The outdoor classroom, which includes fencing, various equipment, supplies, and possible playground equipment, we budgeted $25,000. We haven't gotten any determination or confirmation on that expense at this point in time. So, any questions on Westview? Okay, move on to the corporation. The central office roof, that was a 5-year plan. We are going to do two parts of the 5-year plan this year. We started this plan last year. So we estimated based on last year's costs for those two areas at $98,000. It came in at $97,600. And for the entire corporation, including the central office and the other 4 school buildings, to seal the parking lots, we estimated $40,000. We haven't gotten confirmation on that expense at this point. Mr. Gosser feels pretty confident that $40,000 will be plenty for that, so we'll see. So any questions on the corporation expenses, including the central office? I might add that I talked to Tim Eckstein recently, and he asked me if the central office was locked up, and I got a real feeling that he thought we should keep it locked up during this time. Really, the only traffic we've been getting is delivery persons, but I asked Mr. Gosser to install a door that has a buzzer so that we can lock it and know when there's delivery people or anybody else in this kind of situation that's out there. And so whoever the secretary that's on duty at that time can come and answer the door. So with the most recent governor's statement this morning, executive orders asking us to limit traffic to only essential business, we are going to be locking down the doors throughout that 2-week period. So I just wanted the board to know that we are going to put lock doors that we can use key cards for on the door entrance on the side of Terry Freitas basketball court and on the front door. So I'll let you know what that cost is going to be. But Mr. Gosser, what would you think that cost would be for those 2 doors? You have any guesstimate? We won't hold you to it.
I'd say six or 8,000.
$6,000 to $8,000 for those 2 doors, just for that one.
Just for this.
What about a key card at the other one that's in front? Doesn't have to have a buzzer, but just a key card.
That's usually around 35.
Okay, so it's going to cost close to $10,000, $8,500 to $10,000 for those 2 doors at the central office. Any questions or comments on any of that?
Are there cameras out there?
There are cameras. They're the old cameras that
That
we took from other buildings.
They work okay.
Yeah, we've got them in the hallways and on the exterior.
All right.
They're the old analog, not digital. So, any questions on? You had a summary page also. Right now, we're figuring we're close about $94,000 under budget. But I would expect another $25,000 to $45,000 expense from that, because that under budget doesn't include the Northview budget for the sound system in the gym, which was $5,000. It doesn't include the high school wrap, which is $5,000. It doesn't include the Westview playground at $25,000. So we budgeted for those items, but that under budget doesn't include spending that money. So it's really, unless we don't spend that money, it's more likely to be around $60,000 that we're under budget. And it'll also be another $208 if we don't do that HVAC project at Northview Gym.
Okay, do we
So-
need a vote on this?
We don't need to vote. We'll vote April 20th, and I asked Jill to give you a line item list of rainy day items that you're voting on, so it makes it simpler to read and understand, so you don't have to go through each building.
Are there any questions from the board? Okay. Okay, let's move on to 73 legislative update. Mr. Cunningham?
Did you get Jill on?
Yeah, she's on.
I guess, gosh, it just ended the legislative session, it ended March 10th, but that seems like a lifetime away.
It does.
When that happened. So, big picture, okay, so there were 903 bills introduced at the start of the short session. 163 of those bills were around education. So either around K-12 or school governance or child-related matters, school funding. So that's roughly 20% of the legislative work that they did on bills revolved around education. So that kind of gives you a sense. And then, so that's, I think if you look at all totals, I think, in the bills that passed, that's quite a few bills that we're looking at. So 168 of the enrolled acts passed, and then there were, maybe 33 that were bills that ISBA spent a lot of time tracking. So, just hats off, I think, to ISBA and their effort, one, to keep us informed, but the other part of that of just trying to manage that animal within the General Assembly. So, Pam, again, I sent you all this from ISBA, the list of all the bills, and normally I would take some time to go through those, but since we're online and they've asked us to keep that at a minimum, I'm just going to refer you to the ones that are listed, and maybe at a future time we can talk about some of those. We've already talked about 1065 and its possible impact, but there's some positives. For the most part, I think the positives outweigh the negatives. But take some time if you get it and look through posts we get on our Google Drive. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
Chris?
Board.
Anybody have,
Board?
anybody have questions?
That's what I meant. Anybody from the board, any questions, Chris? Okay. Hearing none, we'll move on down to item 74, corporate sponsors, donation grants. Mr. McKenzie.
Yes, Mr. Gaskin, we have a couple of those for the board tonight from Central Indiana Ethanol for the after prom in the amount of $150, and hopefully we have a prom. The one that was scheduled in April has been pushed back to May 9th, but they don't have any dates past May 9th that they think would be doable, so I don't know what we would do in the alternative, if anything, in this present situation. I don't think there's anything we can do, but right now the prom's scheduled for May 9th. The other item is from Friends of Rick Rust, former teacher and coach from Mississinewa Community Schools, to pay student device fees in the amount of $120, and we would recommend approval of these donations as presented this evening.
Okay. Any questions from the board? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. President.
Mr. Is that Herrera?
Donations as approved, as presented.
Okay. Conrad, right?
Yes.
Okay. It's hard for me to hear from. Okay. I need a second. Okay. That'd be Mr. Smith, right?
Mr. Smith,
Okay.
second.
Okay, got a motion and properly seconded. Hey, Mr. Smith, how you vote?
Yes.
Miss Miller,
Miller?
Yes.
are you awake? Mr. Cunningham?
He's asleep.
Did he say yes? I should shut up. Chris?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Crouch?
Yes.
Ms. Freitas?
Yes.
Mr. Herrera? Motion carries, thank you. Now, is Jill going to be on this?
Yes,
Okay.
Jill's on the line, I believe.
All right. 75 claims to the corporation. Ms. Townsend?
Are you there, Jill? Hello? Maybe she's not.
Yeah, she said she was. Hold on.
*6.
Star six of it.
Jill, you're up.
I can do it.
You can
for
do
her.
it. Can you do it, Mike? Can you?
Yeah, I've got it written out.
I
Script.
bet she's on.
Leslie,
Yeah.
it's back.
Yay.
Took my phone prisoner.
Okay.
Let me just go ahead with that.
Yeah, just go ahead.
Okay.
Mr. McKenzie.
I'll handle the claims this evening. We're doing the claims differently this evening based on a directive that just came out, I believe this morning, for a directive from the state examiner, which makes allowances for this situation for the school district to pay its bills in light of the crisis that we're in. And so I'm just going to read from the script I've got in case this situation happened where Jill wasn't on the phone.
She can hear you.
We recommend that you approve the frequency for deposits of public funds to be limited to 2 times a week. Deposits will be made on Tuesday and Thursday and require that public funds be secured on days deposits are not made. Deposits will be held in a locked safe located in the central business office. Proper internal controls are in place to keep deposits secure. Policy number 6470 of the Mississinewa Community Schools allows the school business office to pay claims prior to the board meeting to prevent undue financial hardship to the vendor or to prevent delinquent penalties and fees. The board provides approval to the business manager to pay these claims during the public health emergency. The board must allow these claims at its first meeting after the emergency has ended. So we would recommend approval of this directive during this time of public health emergency.
Does everybody understand this?
I hope so. Because I don't know if I can answer your question or not.
Mr. President,
Oh, hey, I'm not using it now.
Hey, Jill's on now.
She's on.
Anybody got any questions?
You did great, Pat.
Okay. Are there any claims they're voting to approve tonight? Jill?
Do what?
Are there any claims that they would be voting to approve tonight?
No, there's not, because we're gonna do them all, the first meeting back from the public emergency.
Okay, that's what I thought. I just wanted to get clarity.
What I need them to approve, yeah, I just need them to approve tonight.
The process.
Yeah.
Talked about.
You need a vote to approve the directive from the state.
Does everybody understand that? Basically, we're gonna, if I understand what you're saying, she's gonna pay the bills as needed till we get back out of this emergency situation. That's pretty much the nutshell,
Yes.
okay? Anybody got any questions?
no, Mr. President, this is Mr. Cunningham. I'll make a motion to approve the approval of both directives as presented.
Okay, I need a second.
I need a second. Mr. Kraus, second.
Okay, Mr. Cunningham and Mr. Crouch. Okay, 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 we do a roll call. Mr. Smith,
Mr. Smith. Yes.
Ms. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Cunningham,
Cunningham.
Mr. Crouch,
Yes. Mr. Kraus.
Mr. Freitas, Ms. Freitas,
Yes.
Mr. Herrera.
Mr. Herrera. Yes.
Good, okay, motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll move on to 76, that's correspondence and other business. Mr. McKenzie.
Yes, the first item I had was the next school board meeting would be Monday, April 13th. This is the day we are scheduled, we're going to be scheduled to reopen schools, but now it's been pushed back to May 4th. As I mentioned at the beginning of the meeting, given the current executive order to eliminate all traffic and participation in public meetings to a minimum, I would like to see us entertain a recommendation to cancel the April 13th school board meeting And so our next one would be April 20th in that case. So,
Everybody understand his recommendation? He wants to cancel the April 3rd.
yeah, the recommendation would be to cancel the April 13th school board meeting.
And do it all, and then move it to 20th.
And we already have one scheduled the 20th.
Okay.
So,
Everybody understand the question, or the motion, or the recommendation, sorry?
Mr. President,
Yes, Ms. Miller.
I make a motion we approve the recommendation to cancel the April 13th school board meeting.
Okay, need a second?
Second.
Ms. Miller, Mr. Freitas? Good,
No,
all right. Mrs. Freitas. Okay, any questions? Hearing none. Mr. Smith, your vote.
Yes.
Ms. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Cunningham?
Yes.
Mr. Crouch?
Yes.
Ms. Freitas?
Yes.
Mr. Herrera?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Anything else?
a couple other things, just a reminder that we'll have an executive session following this board meeting, so at the adjournment, give us a moment to turn the camera off, and as soon as the camera is turned off, then we will begin the executive session. Also, I'd like to, I can't say, I don't know if I can find the right words to express and commend Amanda Warwick and the food services team, and also including the administrators for their dedication, their work. They served a little over 850 meals last Monday. Today, I don't have the final figures. It's been up to 1,200. They had 1,390 sign up, so well over 1,000 meals today will be served. And there's plans to serve next Monday. As far as we're concerned, we're still considering that essential services. So we will keep our food services and our administrators working on that food distribution. We have such a need in our community and in our area for food distribution, and I'm so proud of the leadership of Amanda Warwick and all the people that have made that happen. It's so important to our people. So a big shout out to them. And that's all I have. Mrs. Winter, you got anything you want to add?
I just want to echo what you said, and also to let our students and teachers and community and parents know we'll be communicating with you in the next few weeks on what e-learning would look like. We also want to compliment you. Mr. McKenzie and I spoke at length today on how professional our community's been during the food pickup and the communication with us, and how proactive our teachers have been. And this is a very difficult time, and we're very proud of what our community is doing, and it's very important to us that you stay very safe.
I would like to say something. That 1,200, that's 2 meals a day, 5 times a week, right? And it's actually 2 meals a day, so it's actually about 2,400 meals. And so it's no way, the kids really appreciate it. I know they really do. And about Amanda, when she comes back, we need to set her down, because we sat in a meeting and the people were so complimentary about what she's done for this corporation, and she needs to be here to hear it and stuff. Yeah, I agree with the same thing on that. So it's just an amazing process. And looking back, we did the things the board did. We got the call system, and that's been so handy to get that information out. And I can, commend the administrators and what they've done. They got information out every possible way they possibly could. And I know every time you pick up the TV or the phone or anything, somebody's telling you something about it. But I believe they've been on top of it. The situation is so fluid that you make a decision one day, and a minute later they come out with some of their guidelines, and I think we're way ahead of it within. So, and thank God we went 1-to-1 a long time ago. Huh?
Absolutely.
Yes, because we're still going to feed our kids and educate them as best as possible in this situation. So I'd like to be Tab and Leslie and everybody else, Ted, everybody that's doing the things that they're doing there. It's quite a compliment to our school corporation. and the school board.
Yes.
Okay, anybody else got anything?
Have we talked about commencement at all?
Not in this meeting.
Okay.
I was going to bring it up later.
Okay. Okay, I entertain us to move on to, if we're done, with 76, item 76, I'll move to 77, adjournment.
So moved.
Mrs. Freitas makes a motion, I need a second.
Susan.
Susan Miller says, okay, I'm gonna write this down. Okay, any question? Hearing none. Denny, how do you vote?
Yes.
Susan? Chris? Mike? Terry?
Yes.
Conrad?
Yes.
Motion carried. Okay, we'll adjourn.
We're adjourned. Let's take a few minute break in case anybody needs to go to the restroom or anything.
Yeah.
And stretch your legs if you need to, and we'll pick this up as soon as we get the camera turned off.